I think so. All right, piecewise functions. In a nutshell, we're taking pieces of random lines, shapes, whatever, and putting it all together and making one function. That's where the name piecewise comes from. Usually you'll have something set up kind of like this. You'll have f of x equals, that just means the function. And usually that's just like one thing, right? Fx equals x squared or fx equals 2 or something like that. Now we're just combining all of it together to make one like mega function. So for the x values, it's called a restricted domain. So for x squared, we're only going to be using stuff smaller than or equal to -1. For y equals x, we're only going to be using from -1 to 1. And then lastly, 1 over x, we'll be doing for x is greater than or equal to 1. Can anyone tell me what the function 1 over x is, or what it's called? Well done. It's called the rational.
Oh, you're so cool.
I know I'm cool. All right. So 2 ways to go about this. Number 1, you could graph each entire picture. So we could graph x squared, we could graph x, we could graph 1 over x, and then erase it for only the parts that we need. So I could graph the entire y equals x squared right here, and then erase everything that's bigger than -1. That's kind of seems like a long process, and some of us don't have pencils. So the other way we got to do it is we're only going to graph it for the given values. So starting at -1, I'm going to plug -1 into x squared. So if you want to, you can make a little t-chart right there. Nah, okay, whatever works for you. Plug in -1 into x squared. What is the y value that I get out of that? No. So at -1, 1, I have a circle. Now my question for you, is it an open or is it a closed circle? It's closed, and how come? It's got the or equal to, it's got the line under it. Good job. All right. Now, since we're going smaller than -1, what should be a x value that I could use? What's another one? -2. Sure, I like it. -2. So we're plugging in -2 just in for x squared. What y value does that give me? Yeah, it gives me 4. So now at -2, 4, I have a better point. Let's go with maybe just one more. -3. Okay. So -3, what would the y value be? 9. The reason why we're going to use -6 is because that would be 36, and I don't really want to graph -6, 36. So at -3, 9, got a point. Now this graph keeps on going up and to the left, so what should I put at the end of my graph? An arrow. That little arrow action. Yes, sir.
Did we do conic in Pre Cal?
I can't remember if we will actually cover it or not. I think we will. No, we should. Okay. Any other questions about that portion? Okay. Next one is graphing the line y equals x between -1 and 1. Make another t-chart if you want. Now remember, I'm starting at -1, and I'm just going to go to 1. So I can already say -1, 0, and 1. Now, since they're both less than symbols, as you see right here, right there, what does that mean for the ends of this portion of the graph?
Open.
They're both going to be open circles, right? So if I put -1 in for x, right here, what do I get out? -1. What about for 0? Yeah, 0 and then 1. Yeah, real challenging, right? So at -1, I have a open circle at -1. 0, closed circle, and 1, 1, open circle again. We'll go ahead and connect my dots. Way too easy.
Wait, did you put a closed circle at 0?
I did.
Why?
Because we're saying everything between -1 and 1, so we can't include 0.
Oh, okay.
Good question. Okay, last piece. 1 over x for everything bigger than or equal to 1. So one last time, make an XY chart if you're okay with that. If not, that's cool. If you remember what the rational function looks like, which on some of our quizzes it kind of looked like some of us didn't know what it looked like. Whatever. Starting with 1. Started grading.
I did calculator.
Started at 1. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. So I'll have a filled-in circle at 1, 1. At 2, what's my y value? Plugging that in.
1/2.
Yeah, 1/2 or 0.5. What about 3? 1/3. What about 4? Is there a pattern? Yeah, just
No.
maybe. So I'm starting at 1,1. I'm filling a circle. Oh, it's a different color. That's okay. And then I'm getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Just keeps on going forever and ever. There's that kind of bad sounding word for what this can get really close to. Anybody remember what that's called? Asymptote. Well done. So it's going to get really, really close to it, but not quite touching. Caleb.
For the second function that you had,
Yes, sir.
it was open circle at the very end, and then you filled it in. Is that okay?
Filled it in because, great question by the way, because this was or equal to, and so it just happened to have the same y value as this one did. And so since this was an open circle in the red, this is a closed circle in the green, we're cool.
So
Okay.
it always cancels out. You're on it.
Right, we can kind of like stick up or fill it in, cancel out, whatever. Any other questions about numero uno? How do we feel about this? Maybe like a 1 to 10 rating. 0, that's not between 1 and 10. Awesome. 6, infinity, I like it. 8, go.
Wow.
Alright, cool. Let's do one more and then we'll be done, though. Alright, the second one. Let's make this g of x just because we can. X plus 2. If the x is less than or equal to 0. We got 3. If x is between 0 and 4. And then lastly, square root of x if x is greater than 4. It's a plus. All right. Where do we start? Waiting.
What the?
Same thing. Start with the x and the y's. Now everything's smaller than or equal to 0, so that means I'm going to start with 0. Plug it in here. So what's my first y value? 2. Now we're going bigger than 0 or smaller than 0? I can't remember. Smaller. So next one should probably be -1. Maybe -2. Maybe -3. So my y values are going down by 1 each time, right? So it should be 1, 0, -1. Wrap that. Close circle at 0, 2. The next piece says just 3. So what? That's a constant. So what does that mean?
Straight line.
It's a straight line. Is it vertical or horizontal? Horizontal. So that means, if you want, you can do XY charts again. We're going from 0 to 4. What's my y value going to be the entire time? Yeah. Probably didn't need that. Probably didn't need that. So from 0 to 4, 1, 2, 3, I got a y value of 3. Open circle at 0. Closed circle at 4. I'm connecting my dots. And then lastly, square root of x. If x is greater than 4, so if you want, you can go ahead and, oh boy. All right. Yeah. Got the x, y chart, everything bigger than 4, so let's go ahead and start with 4. What's my y value going to be for the x value of 4. 2, right? We're taking the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is 2. What's another good x value that I could plug in? 9. Plug in 9, that's going to be 3. So at 4, I have a open or closed? Open circle at 2. And then at 9, I got a closed circle at 3. And square root kind of like curves, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A little hook action. Something like that.